Hey everybody, this is John with the Creature Teacher, and in this large enclosure, if I just kind of pan over here, we can see, just make my way, there we go. There's his head, after about 7.5 feet of body. This here is Rojo Grande, or Big Red, and Big Red is a Boa Constrictor. Hey buddy, how's it going? You can see his mustache right there at the tip of his nose. He's got those little black lines. Looks kind of like a mustache. Now Rojo Grande is a Boa Constrictor, and he is about 7 years old. We're not sure of his exact age. Hey buddy, how's it going? He does love to crawl there. He is wanting to, at the moment, crawl on me. We're going to turn the light on in his house so he's a little easier to see. Now, boa constrictors are one of the larger snakes in South America. They're not the largest. And they are commonly known as red-tailed boas, because if we come over here and look at his tail, you can see he has this reddish patches on his tail. Now, this is a boa constrictor. This is not a boa constrictor imperator, so this is a true red-tailed boa. There is another, it's now considered a separate species. It was considered a subspecies of the boa constrictor for a long time. It's now not. It's called boa imperator, and that's called the common northern boa, which those are also sold in the pet trade as well, and they are also sometimes sold as a red-tailed boa. However, these reddish markings on the common northern boa do look a little bit different. They're not typically the boa constrictors from South America, which would be one of these guys. This red color is more reddish. His is not as red as some others can be. It does depend on their location and where they're found. Whereas the common northern boa, that red color is usually much more of a maroon. So if you live here in Texas, a Suna maroon or an Aggie maroon, more along those lines. Hey buddy, how you doing? Yeah. Now, my son wants to say hi. My son loves the snakes, and he loves Rojo a lot. Now, since this is a male, he is fully grown. He's about 7.5 feet to 8 feet, about. I'd say he's closer to 7.5 feet. He doesn't really like to be straightened out so that we can measure him, so he is longer than I am tall by over a foot, and I'm about more longer than that, actually. He is about 1.5 feet longer than I am tall, and I'm about 5'11", so 7.5 to 8 feet is what I say. He's probably much closer to 7.5 feet. He is a male, again, just like with the ball python, Monty. The females of this species do get larger. That's a very beautiful color pattern that he's got going on here. The females can be between 10 to 13 feet. We do have one that's a little over 9.5 feet. She does not live with me. She lives with my boss. And the females are a lot heavier. They are much bigger, heavier snakes than the males are. Kind of see like a rainbow sheen he's got going on here in his scales. Very pretty. Now, just like with our ball python, we do frozen thaw with this guy. He happily eats frozen thaw. He does eat one rat every 2 weeks. One very large rat every 2 weeks. Now, there are some people who may want to feed these guys like rabbits or something like that, when they start getting really big. It's important to make sure that if you are going to feed them larger food items, like rabbits, make sure the rabbits are skinny, meaning the rabbits don't have too much fat on their body, because if you start feeding a snake something that has too much fat in it, they themselves will also get fat. That is a problem with some snakes in captivity, is people actually feed them more than they should be eating. These are pretty inactive animals. They are champions of laying around doing nothing and being lethargic and conserving their energy. You want to come out and say hi, buddy? There you go. There you go. All right. Saying hi. Sticking his tongue in and out, of course, and smelling, sniffing around. Now, if you guys are observant and you have dealt with snakes before, some of you guys might notice that he has a nasty-looking mark on his nose. That's not because he's been mistreated by me or anything like that. This actually was a rescue animal. We got him from a rescue facility that rehabilitates reptiles, and then they resell them at the reptile shows here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So these marks, this mark here on his nose, that's on his nose right there, and then he has some other ones along the length of his body. If I could see one, I'd point it out, but I don't see any. This guy was someone's pet, and when the rescue facility got him, he was actually close to being dead. He was not doing pretty well. Said it took almost a year to rehabilitate him and get him back to where he is. And he, of course, still has some marks, unfortunately, on his nose and some marks on his body, either from heat lamps or something going on, something burning him. That one on his nose is probably a burn mark from a heat lamp, or from smashing his head in between the, you know, the opening of the tank and the wall, trying to get out or something like that. So again, when you have a snake like this, since these do live for a long time, make sure you take care of them. Make sure you have the proper enclosure for this guy. I mean, his enclosure now is this huge, giant one. It's about 7 feet, and when he stretches fully out, his body kind of curves around the side here just a little bit. So it is long enough for him to almost fully stretch out. I mean, honestly, he doesn't really stretch out a whole lot. He kind of just likes to stay in one spot. He'll sit under his heat lamp there. He'll sit somewhere else in this, you know, in all this aspen bedding that he's got going on. Hey, buddy, it's okay. Or he'll sit in his big water tub. Just like, you know, that's really all he needs. You're getting excited today. Yeah. I would take him out and hold him, but I don't have someone else to hold the camera for me. My son would definitely not do a good job of doing that. So I can't show him off to you in his full size. Maybe one day we'll do that when I have someone else to hold the camera for me. But we will be doing a feeding video for him later, so you guys can see him. Again, if you don't like seeing snakes bite onto something, that's fine. You don't have to watch it. Again, it is going to be a frozen thawed rat. It is not alive, so it was in the freezer, and it was defrosted. So again, it is not a live animal. So if you're concerned about me throwing a rat in here or holding a live one over him, not going to be doing that, so don't worry about that. If we did have to feed any of our snakes live, or if we were going to, I would not take a video of it, just because there are people out there who don't like that, and it's pretty obvious what it's going to be like. It's going to be a snake grabbing onto a rat and eating it. Think everybody can imagine that in their heads. Anyways, we're going to be saying bye to Rojo Grande. Also, if you didn't know, his name means big red, because he's big and he has red on his tail. Anyways, we're going to be saying bye to him. Hope you guys liked the video. As always, like, subscribe, share the videos, and of course, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our website as well. And this has been John with the Creature Teacher. Hope you guys have a great day.